Do you feel sometimes that you're at war? Do you feel, even though we're in peaceful times, that actually it's a constant battle, a battle with, well, all these different things that seem to be thrown upon us, you know, like the council tax and the demands? Do you have bailiffs banging on your door saying you've failed to have these payments? Have you got summonses to the court, whether real ones from the actual court or these Mickey Mouse ones from the council? Or do you find it's just you can't put up with all this nonsense in the supermarkets in which the cameras are sort of facing you all the time, recording your every move, giving you the feeling that you're a criminal before you've even entered the building? And then you've got to use these automated tills and things rather than actually talk to a person and exchange a few pleasantries along the way. Do you feel that life is a bit of a battle? When you drive into a city now, you're going, oh, hang on a minute, is this a clean air zone? Or is there a ULEZ thing in this area? Am I supposed to pay something when you park your car? Are you looking around for all the signs that says, if you don't pay up, we're going to charge you £100 a second, or whatever it is, or we'll clamp the car, or we'll take the wheels, or we'll blow it up, or we'll crush it, or we'll just shoot you in the playground anyway, just for the sake of it? Are you being constantly bombarded from your GP saying, have you come and had your little booster yet? Have you got shingles? Or we got something for that? Does your toenails need cutting? We've got an injection for that too now. Are you worried about what's being pumped into the air? Are you concerned about the water that you're drinking? Are you constantly feeling as if, hang on a minute, life just seems to be pressure, 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 and I'm going to explode at any moment? Are you one of those people who, I daren't go out anymore because everything just feels negative? Everywhere I look, there's downtrodden faces and people looking sad and nobody sort of upbeat and vibrational, except, of course, you know, the trusty YouTuber with a bald head and glasses who sits on his chair trying to cheer people up and tell them actually things aren't as bad as they are. Well, I know how you feel if you're feeling that way and you're feeling, but we must ask ourselves why and who's at fault. Is it us? Have we done something wrong? Are we constantly, oh, is this just life? Is this what we have to put up with? Or is there a common element to this? The ULEZ thing, the clean air thing, the GPs forcing all these sort of medical interventions on you, the filling up of the sky, the geoengineering, the uncertain what's in the water business, and all of it. What is the common denominator? What is that thing that we've got to have this year in which we go and put an X in a box if we so decide to put people in power? Oh yes, it's that voting thing. We elect apparently a government. Bingo. Is that the thing that is the common denominator to all our problems? Is it that actually it is the policies that the government pushes out and leans on people like the GPs and says, well, we've spent so much money on these blooming files of goodness, we ought to be pumping them into people in every possible thing that you can do? Or with the clean air zones and the mayors going, oh yes, we must have these 15-minute cities and we're going to eradicate all people from driving. We're going to have electric vehicles, but you won't be able to drive them because they'll be autonomous and they'll be doing their own thing. Is that the thing that's the common denominator? Is it the government? Is it those people who we pay, that they are our employees, that we pay our taxes, or not, to question whether you believe in paying your taxes, because after all, as we heard with Chris Coverdale the other day, it is actually illegal to fund those terrorists out there who are putting money aside or helping, aiding and abetting terrorism, which I believe Rishi Sunak, isn't he the Prime Minister? Hasn't he just put taxpayers' money towards Ukraine, a rather large sum of money that nobody actually asked me, and is actually against the UN Charter, which the governments have signed, which says we are not allowed to send arms or use force or anything like that, and yet somehow what are we doing? Just are we paying the individual people, those poor people who are bombed out there? Are we saying here's a humanitarian aid for every poor little person who's had their head blown off, their arms torn off, or any other limb just sort of strewn about and blood guts all over? Here's a £5 for you from the British people. There we are, that's for you. Now pull yourself together, you'll be all right. And oh, there's a tenner for you, you headless poor Ukrainian. That's for, is that what we're doing? Are we handing the money to there? Or are we just really giving them some money that ends up going into some type situation? I'm not sure. Nobody asked me. And actually, as my employee, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet Office, because I'm paying them through the taxes and through my misguided voting some 5 years ago, I'm not happy with that. And actually, I would like to say, you lot in government, to be honest with you, you haven't done what we've wanted you to do. You kind of done what you wanted to do yourself. And that's unacceptable. It's not what anybody's asked. Nobody wanted to go to war. Nobody wanted to fund these terrorist activities. Nobody wanted the skies painted with all sorts of nasty nanotechnology and graphite and graphene and all those sort of things. And nobody wanted to have our water poisoned with fluoride. Nobody wanted to be constantly told to have some sort of venom injected into your arm that's going to affect you and make you suddenly like that at any time. Nobody's asked you to do that. We the people, this is our land, you know. You seem to have forgotten. We're funding all of this, and you've become a little bit too big for your boots. So really and truly, as the problem that we've all got and the things that have caused all these things, you're fired. You're fired. Not just you, but all of you. All of you 650, however many are sitting in there, you pompous people who think that you are running the place and are doing all these lovely backhanders and have these big country estates and retire with peerages and goodness knows what. No. You're fired. We've had enough of it now, actually. We've given you a chance over the last however many years that Parliament's been there doing its thing. But actually, we've noticed that really and truly, all you ever do is make a complete and utter cock-up of it. You make everything worse. The NHS is a lot worse than ever it was. The borders are just like letting any old person in as long as they've got a rowing boat. And we seem absolutely powerless to do anything about it. Oh, and by the way, we may as well slap them into a 4-star hotel and give them as many food coupons as they like, whereas we've got homeless on the street who can't get anywhere, a bed for the night or anything. Yes, and our school system, how is it that you could even cock that up? But no, you did. Yes, you're teaching masturbation to 4-year-olds. That's not a good look. That's really a rubbish thing to be doing. Yes, you've made everybody into slaves. Not only have you done nasty things with everything, but we've just got to the point where now we're fed up with it. And you're fired. You're fired. The whole system, the whole business is over. And I think personally this is where people are beginning to get to. They're beginning to realise that actually this is the big core problem. It's those bunch over there. It's not us. It's not the cost of living. It's not all these other things. They're responsible for it. We could do a hell of a lot better ourselves on our own without that bunch. We could organise ourselves much, much better, and we could actually help one another. And that would be the way to do it. So I think it's going to be fascinating watching as we approach the general election and see what happens, because to my mind, just like the crumbling building that they're all sitting in, it's all going to collapse and it'll be over. And to be honest, I will be one of the first at the top of the queue who will be cheering and saying, goodbye. What a waste of time that lot was.